Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing dire of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Rock will never hide.
Good evening and welcome back to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer 5th edition World of Darkness Chronicle set in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Michikent on all social media platforms, and I am the lead storyteller of St. Pete by Night, and it's Tuesday night. And you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida, just across that little body of water from the city of St. Petersburg, where a pack of Guru have established a new sept, a sept called the Sept of the Evening Star, that have been retaking the city of Tampa from those terrible, terrible leeches, those dastardly vampires that have ruled over the city for over a century. And they've done a pretty good job so far, but new threats have been literally growing out of the ground and have been causing quite some havoc. But it's not the only havoc that have been caused within the city. There have been havocs from within the Guru Nation itself for this pack. But there are some good things that are happening within the pack itself. As we've seen, relationships form, relationships be mended, and some have some cracks form as well, as Aspen and Lucas had a bit of a confrontation last week over Lucas's efforts to try and benefit the pack, his extracurricular activities, his taking matters into his own hands in attempts to try and benefit the pack to further their goals. And while some may say he's right in his efforts to try and push the agenda of the pack forward, others might say his direction, his choices may not have been the best. His way of going about pushing that agenda may not have been the best. They definitely haven't been to Aspen's liking, at the very least, as he has ventured out to Piney Point on his own on more than one occasion, despite being told not to. That being said, Aspen also had a conversation with Charles where she was confronted about her leadership style as of late, her emotionless, detached leadership style, and how Charles himself has had to confront the fact that his whole life he has not given in to his emotions. He has not connected with others, and how this pack, this sept, has helped him see the light, and how his relationship with Jester has made him a better person and a better guru and a better leader, and how Aspen needs to find that person within herself again if she is going to be the leader that this sept and that this nation needs. Otherwise, it could only mean worse things for the sept and the future of this nation. So will Aspen see the light? Will the future of this nation succeed or fail? Only time will tell. Jester and Jace are also looking to pursue the goals of this sept and further the goals of this nation as they continue to investigate the plants that have been growing within the area, these strange new infestations that seem to spread over the area. They discovered a new type of plant that seems to grow like a bulb or a tulip, but while investigating and in doing so, one of these plants seemed to erupt, shooting spores into the sky. And Dreams in Decay, Jace accidentally inhaled some of these spores, and the effects of this particular plant have yet to truly reveal themselves. But as we saw last week, for the first time since becoming a guru, Jace did not dream in decay. In fact, he had probably the most pleasant and peaceful dream he's had in a very, very long time. Whether that's a good tiding or ill tiding for the future remains to be seen. As for tonight's story, the title of the story is Girls versus Boys. So what that means, we can only wait and see to find out tonight. But let's get to introducing the amazing players that make Rage Across Tampa a possibility. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, Cutman, jabby right hook with your left hand, whatever you want to call me. And I will be playing Aspen Weiss, Philodox of the Silverfangs.
Hi everybody, I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hey everybody, I'm Walks, and I will be playing Lucas Shaw, the Ragabash of the Shadow Lords.
Hey everyone, my name's Preston. I play Jason Dreams in Decay Thorn, the Urge of the Bone Gnars.
Champ, that is a 7-second knockout of an introduction, so thank you for that. So players, as we mentioned, the threats continue to grow, and the approach that this sept is taking in dealing with those threats seems to be varied. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, depends on the views of the various pack members, but one way or another, the threat must be dealt with, and a plan has been set forward to seek out 2 sites of the group known as High Quality Builders, information that has been brought to the sept by the pack known as Hellhounds that has come from Hell, Michigan, your reinforcements from the north, which have been decidedly unknown as whether they're a benefit or a drawback. But one thing that is sure is that they did bring some useful information. High Quality Builders, which has been linked to be a subsidiary of Pentex, the source of these problematic plants, is in league with this particular organization and is linked to these plants. And knowing that there are 3 sites within the area that could potentially be responsible for the growing of these plants, you have tasked yourselves with seeking out 2 of these sites. Stakes, the mentor of the Hellhounds, has already looked into the third site. Now, this pack has decided to divide into two groups to seek out the other two sites and investigate them, which we will see in the second half of tonight's story. But for the first half, we journey now to the cairn. Aspen, after a conversation with Charles, you found the emotions within you unlocked, at least a little bit. The cracks having really formed, the walls starting to crumble. You've held them up for a long time, and yes, there have been smaller cracks in the past, but tell us how Aspen has been feeling in the weeks since her conversation with Charles.
Aspen has spent a lot of time on her own when she's not hunting with Jester or doing things for the pack. She spent a lot of time processing. She's not quite there to fully, I guess you could say, completely grieve, move into acceptance 100%, but she's has the words echoing in her head that says, I'll try. So she's been coming at it from a more pragmatic questions, answers, little things that she can kind of grab onto without breaking completely.
Now, one of those questions that you've wanted answers to were questions of spirit. You've wanted some spiritual guidance. Now, you haven't gotten to a point yet that you necessarily trust Jason to answer these questions for you. But there are some inroads being made there, especially after the task of seeking out the vulture spirits, the carrion spirits. Some respect is forming there, but you're not quite there yet to look to him for spiritual guidance. So you've decided to look to Eliza, who has been a spiritual guide and mentor ever since your arrival in Tampa. What is the question that's really been lingering on your mind that you're hoping to have her answer for you today?
What happens to the guru spirits in the cairn after they die? What exactly? Where do they go? How much interaction can you have? What emotions? What do they see? What do they feel? How does that work?
Okay. So it's a warm spring afternoon, early spring afternoon, as you enter into the cairn. It's always been nice and temperate in the cairn, even as it was in the late winter or the early spring. Ever since the cairn's opened, it's always been pleasant within the cairn itself. Whatever the exterior temperature has been, whenever you've entered into the grounds of the cairn, it's always seemed nice ever since this cairn has awakened. It's always felt safe. It's always felt comfortable. Whatever your emotional state has been, whatever has unnerved you about the thought of being close to what you know lies within, to what you've tried to avoid confronting within yourself, there's always been a sense of calm, of peace, of comfort. Even if you've tried to avoid it, even if you've tried to shake it off, it's always been there. As you head towards the center of the cairn, you do find Eliza tending to a garden that has been positioned off to one side. Clearly, her and Lucas have been hard at work around the cairn. You actually see another side of the cairn near where the clave is hung. There is a pile of wood off to one side that is being worked on. Not exactly sure what the purpose of it is yet, but Lucas clearly has a project that is in process. but it hasn't quite taken shape as to what it's being used for yet. But as Eliza tends to the garden, she doesn't even have to turn to recognize your approach. Seplita, my Seplita. I can
Eliza?
hear your footsteps. What can I do for you?
Well, first off, do you need any help? What can I help with?
Why don't you grab that trowel for me? We're just turning over the dirt a little bit for some new seeds to go in for the spring.
She'll go grab the trowel and she'll roll up her sleeves and kneel down next to where Eliza is.
Nothing like turning over the dirt for a new beginning.
Well, careful with all those plants, you know?
Oh, I'm not worried about what's outside of this place. Nothing like that's getting in here.
Oh, I'm sure you and Lucas do a wonderful job of making sure this place stays what it needs to be.
Certainly, although word has it that you haven't been necessarily as pleased with Lucas's efforts outside of this place.
Well, Lucas, without sounding ridiculous and making puns, is always trying to be a lone wolf, and that's not how that works here.
It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I understand your concern better than anyone. I was a lone wolf myself for a long time, and I still am getting used to this idea of being surrounded by all of you. I even find myself still trying to wander away, getting lost in all of the noise around this place, having to be brought back down to earth. Jester often has to snap me out of it when she's around this place, trying to refocus me. She likes to call it spiritual ADHD. I would advise patience. I understand the frustration and I understand the concern and worry for him and for yourself and for the threat that it potentially could bring back on us. But he is feeling lost, unmoored, without his longtime companion, and with the introduction of a new patron, even though it's always been his patron, I'm sure he is feeling more unsure of himself than ever. But he is not trying to hurt this place. He is trying to help in the only way he knows how, in the only way he was taught how. It's not that he is trying to betray you or that he doesn't trust your leadership or guidance. He'll come around.
Yeah. No, I know. I told him I don't trust him, and it's not completely true. But there's a lot to consider now with eyes on us constantly with the new pack. What kind of example are we setting that they could just go on their own and do whatever they want to do? There's a lot to it, and I don't know if I made that clear. But I get where he's coming from. I do.
It's okay to be the stern hand. That's your job. Just keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Allow Jester to be the soft touch. That's how you balance each other so well. Good cop, bad cop, as it's often said. You're doing your job well. He is doing his. But I do believe, in my heart of hearts, he's doing what he thinks is right, and he is only trying to help.
I believe that. I think he thinks he's doing what he needs to do.
What about you? Are you doing what you need to do?
That's a bit of a loaded question. There's a lot of things I need to do, and it's more like juggling knives at this point.
That's why I asked. I know you're doing a lot of things that you need to do.
This one of those ask around a question and get me to come to the answer myself type thing? Or is this...
Why don't you ask me the question that you came here to ask? I know
Okay.
that you're on your way to the answer that you need to find, and I understand that I can't rush you on that journey. I'm just another step towards that answer.
Eliza, you're always so wise. You see through anyone. It's obnoxious, but it's also why we appreciate you so much. Do you know what happens after everything? Here specifically.
Honestly, no. I have some theories. I have honestly been trying to uncover that myself. I have been speaking with Alara. I have been watching Aiden. I've been watching his transition. And it is a transition. I will tell you that much. I did not get to see Alara's transition. I didn't even know it happened. To be completely honest, that all occurred during the fall of the Old Sept. And, well, there was a lot going on during that time. We didn't even know that it had happened, and, well, then I fell from the ways of the Guru, and it wasn't until now that I discovered it was her. From what I can tell, for the first while, there is a time of transition into acceptance, releasing of your earthly attachment, accepting that you are a spirit and no longer bound. Now, that doesn't mean you forget what it is to be alive. I mean, we are all part spirit now. but it is letting go of the wolf. It is letting go of the man. The other two parts of us. And that takes time. When you're 1/3 of something, you have to make up the other 2/3. And yes, you are going to lose some parts of you in that process. But I don't think that means you lose your memories. I don't think that means you lose your attachments necessarily. I think they change to a certain degree. So if you're worried that when it's your time to cross over, that Aiden's not going to remember you or going to care for you, I wouldn't worry about that. Or that you're going to forget him or care for him, I wouldn't worry about that. I think it's going to be different, certainly. But I think the bond that the two of you share, just like the bond you share with the rest of the pack, transcends what it is to be wolf or man or spirit. You made a connection of all of those things when you formed as a pack and when you made this pledge as a Caern. You connected to all of the spirits of this Caern. So when you pass on, you will just simply be joining the family that awaits you on the other side. And I believe there will be a familiarity to everyone that awaits you. Jester witnessed a story last week. She touched a tree for the first time. And in doing so, she got to witness the history of one of the spirits that is tied to one of the trees. And I've done so many times as I've tried to delve into the secrets of this place. And while it was like seeing it for the first time, it was also like seeing it again. Like rewatching my own history. It felt familiar. The lines between us as individuals blur in this place. And I believe they will blur even more so when our time in this earthly realm is done.
Do you see them? The others from before?
I don't see them actively walking around. It's not like they're standing next to us or having conversations or leering. But I feel them. I can tell they are near. And when they're needed, when a threat looms or when a spiritual rite is called upon, when a ritual is enacted, they make their presence known. But otherwise, they wait, they watch, they rest. They have been here for quite some time. And I think time works differently for them. It's not like they are existing moment by moment like we are. They just exist in the flow of it all. So they appear when it's necessary. They
What
appear
makes
when it's called upon.
what makes Alara different? Is she not connected to this place? Is that why it's different?
That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure. There was something strange about Alara and Grandmother Willow that I've been looking into, and I haven't quite uncovered. Because it wasn't. I know that there was a connection between Grandmother Willow and Alara. Her transition was through Grandmother Willow. Now, why she is linked to this place now, I'm not entirely sure. That is something I am still trying to uncover. How she made her way here. I'm hoping to have some answers on that soon. I'm on brink of uncovering that. And perhaps, even by the time we venture out to go investigate that apartment complex, maybe I'll even have some answers then. But at the moment, I'm not entirely sure. I would have thought with the destruction of that cairn, so too would have Alara been destroyed. But yet, she's here. I suppose it'd be worth asking her, although she has never been the more verbose, informational type. She may not even know or care.
I've noticed that about her.
But she's also the type to just tell you as it is.
So you say time is different, right? There, I guess, is the best way we could describe it. So and you said they'd show up potentially for rites and things like that. Do you think they would ever just show up just because, or do you think that they have essence in the trees itself? I guess I just don't understand.
What are you hoping for?
Honestly, to understand, I think it would help. I think, I don't know. Just want to understand.
I'm not sure the trees themselves are what's important. The trees are, yes, they are the framework. And if they were destroyed, it would be detrimental. Because they are part of the wild. They are the framework of the wild. But the spiritual energy that makes up the cairn isn't due solely to the trees. The spiritual essence isn't locked in the trees. So when we pass on, we don't become a tree, simply put. We join in the overall makeup of the cairn itself. So it's not like you're going to select a tree or be put into a specific tree and that tree is going to be yours. I can't say, that tree belongs to that specific individual. Yes, while we denote that den to be Aiden's or Alara's, it's more in symbolism than anything else.
So you would say the cairn is like a brain, and the spirits within it are like the neurons that help.
It's a very scientific
Move.
way to put it, but yes, that is a very, very good example. Yes.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
Truthfully, this is only one of these places. I believe there are others like it. And from what I've come to learn, what I'm discovering, there was a tribe from before that was particularly talented at building these places, opening these places. The reason this place was discovered, built, fostered, as well as it was, the reason we were able to open it as easily and as uniquely as we were, was because of that tribe's talent. Unfortunately, that tribe was lost to time because of a great sacrifice. This
There's
is
more.
what Jason and I are learning. We're trying to see if we can learn more. But if there are other places like this, if there are other locations like this, it's quite possible that they are interconnected. And that if they too can be opened, that maybe it's not just localized to this place. And if they too can be opened, perhaps that is the secret to turning the tide of this conflict.
So like even more esoteric moon bridges.
Possibly.
Okay. I think that helps. I think knowing, I don't know. I think I just wanted to know more about this place.
I think you want to know more than that.
I think it's a good step.
It's a great step. He will be there. He's here now. He is not hurting. If anything, the only thing that's hurting him is seeing you hurting. Because that's all he wanted to prevent. That's what he was trying to avoid. That's why he didn't want you to know. He wanted to keep you from hurting as long as possible. And I think if he knew that this would have been the end result, maybe he would have told you. Because this isn't what he would want.
I'm working on it.
I know. And I'm here for you. These things take time. I know that better than anyone. Loss is a terrible thing. I dealt with it for 10 years. You're much further along than I am already. Take your time. But you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot others that are relying on you, that need you. And you have the benefit of knowing that he'll be there.
Trying to get good at juggling knives.
Don't think of them as knives. That's the first step.
Fair enough.
Is there anything else or other that I can answer? I'm still just like a child looking for the first time upon this, and while I may have answered quite a bit, the answers seem to change the more I discover.
Nothing specific for me. Be interesting to hear. Tell me some fun things while we garden before we go. Well, garden.
Well, sure. I can tell you this. Sacrifice isn't always a bad thing. That's what I've learned from the ones that built this place. The spirits that dwell within this place aren't sad to be here. Even after all this time. Even after the dormancy of centuries. They aren't angry or miserable. They aren't vengeful or vindictive. They've experienced a great deal of emotion, yes, especially when they were alive. They had all of the human experience, all of the Guru experience. But they willingly chose this. And one thing I can say is they do not regret it. And that makes me happier than anything that we chose this path.
I agree.
But let me tell you some stories, maybe to pass the time while we work the dirt here.
Absolutely. It'll be good to know who we're, spending the rest of, well, forever with.
Oh, there are some colorful characters, let me tell you. With that, she begins digging into the dirt and telling you tales of individuals from history, from a time that you only seem to read about in textbooks. What is Aspen feeling after this conversation with Eliza as she starts to work in the garden herself?
I feel like the answers Aspen was looking for were answered. I think she didn't go in there specifically like looking for this or that, especially when it came to Aiden. It was more of a perspective on the whole. So that really, really helped. And it also, talking to Eliza, she always wants to like push a little bit more because she sees her, I guess you could say, kids, and that's what she does. So she kind of knew going in that that was a potential as well. And she's glad she did. She knew it was going to happen.
Time with the pack mom is always necessary for healing. even if it's just a little bit at a time. The cairn is full of mysteries, slowly being uncovered, but they most certainly aren't the only mysteries in this city. So as we transition to our next scene, Jace, you have a mystery of your own that has been tickling at your mind. The mystery that is Moses. This man that you met when you first arrived in the city. This man that has been a companion, a friend, a guide, but also a stranger, a curiosity. And now, an unanswered question. The man who carries a staff of symbols. The man who speaks in riddles. So as you walk along the river walk, keeping somewhat of a watchful eye out, what's going through your mind?
The conversation with Rat about the comparison of these two very strangely powerful people from media, bringing them up and saying it's a combination of the two, has made Jace go nuts. Like, what did Rat mean? Also, someone who does speak cryptically, and he has to try and decipher what even his patron tries to say sometimes. So he's trying to figure out what this guy is. Going back, trying to think when the first time he met, what Moses said, all the other interaction that he's had. What was Moses trying to tell him something, or is he hiding something? Is he putting on a facade, or is he being straight up? So he's trying to see if there is a trust between them, or if they're both trying to play each other for more knowledge about what's going on.
As you walk down the boardwalk, the sounds of the city picking up around you, people conversing. It's always a busy place, the boardwalk. There's activities happening all throughout the day and night. It's a popular tourist destination, but also being so close to downtown, it's just a place where people go to get away from their day-to-day work, just to get near the water. It's a place to take lunches or dinners. It's a place to go see street performers. It's a place to busk. But it's a place that you know Moses oftenly frequents. And as you're downtown this particular evening, you feel yourself growing a little bit hazy. Roll me a wits and resolve.
Three.
You feel your vision start to blur a little bit at the edges, like a little yellow rim around the edges of your vision. And you hear the voices of people talking nearby grow a little bit louder. Like they're talking kind of too much. Like it's getting too overwhelming, a little overstimulating at first. But you shake your head and shake it off. Are able to kind of shut it out of your mind, and your vision clears. And that's where you see, further down the boardwalk, Moses talking to some passers-by. He's got a blanket laid out on the sidewalk, and he's got several candles laid out on the blanket with a little sign that says donations
shake his head a little bit, rub his eyes, then observe, get a little bit closer, and just watch for a little bit. See if he does anything out of the ordinary of what people do.
As you're paying attention, it seems that he's seeking donations for a faith center, possibly the faith center that he had mentioned to you the last time you'd met. He's giving out these candles in exchange for the donations that he's seeking. It seems that this faith center is seeking donations for the soup kitchens and the various other services that they offer out. But he's, passing out these candles that come in a variety of scents in exchange. And nothing out of the ordinary. You can see that the staff that he has is underneath his legs as it was before, as he's got his feet crossed over. But he seems to just be smiling pleasantly and having conversations with people who pass by. Occasionally people stop to chat with him. Some people will make donations, but most people just pleasantly wave or ignore as they pass by.
After some time goes by, Jason will make his way up to him, making himself known, not trying to be hidden at all. Just approach Moses.
Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Yeah, donations, huh?
Yeah, thought I'd offer out some help to those in need.
It's very kind of you.
You look
Pretty
like
good
you're
donation.
being in need some yourself.
Thanks. I'm doing fine.
You sure? Don't need an aspirin or something?
Aspen and me don't really get along. I'm more of a caffeine guy when, like headaches and stuff come by. Can't have too much of that, right?
Can't stand this stuff myself. Keep me up all night.
That's kind of the idea.
Oh, well. Couldn't bother with you with none of that.
Well, how have the donations been going?
Well, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's hard times out here, so I can understand why people are holding tight to their pocketbooks.
Yeah, but hard time for some is even harder for others.
Mm.
So, I'll tell you what, he'll pull out his wallet and he'll fiddle through and grab a couple hundred and put it in one of the little cups. Should get
Well,
it going.
I'm not sure I got even enough candles for that, but let me see what I can rustle up here.
No, hey, it's just donation.
Hey,
Don't even worry about it.
Hey. I think I got something right here just in mind for you. Just give me a second.
All right.
Reaches over into the satchel and starts digging through. He pauses for a moment, looks over at you, and studies you for a second. Then he goes back to digging in the bag. And after a moment, he pulls out a candle. I think this is the one right here. Just for you. And he offers it out.
All right. A nice $200 candle. Appreciate it.
I think this is the light that you need to guide your way.
I will never say no to guidance. And he'll take that and kind of like shove into one of his inside pockets of his jacket. But I know you're gathering donations, but you helped me. Are you doing okay? Like, where you been staying at lately? I know that you wander. But
Well, a little bit here, a little bit there. The fine folks up at that, Faith Center have been kind enough to put me up a night or two. Thought I'd return the favor here with getting them some donations, but I always find my way. Find a place to put a roof over my head when I need to.
Yeah.
But the weather's been nice. It's been warming up. So it's been nice to sleep under the stars here and there or some.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get used to the weather here. The humidity, not so much the heat. Like, it gets hot where I'm at, but it's humidity. That's the kicker for me.
Oh, you just gotta drink that in. You just gotta drink it in. Just drink it in, soak it into your skin. You'll never find yourself drying out down here.
And then I'll just keep looking young like you, right? Nice.
Absolutely.
I'll try and get used to it the best I can.
Oh, you can. It just takes some time, but you know what? You just take it for what it is. Take some time, get used to it. You acclimate, and then you'll find yourself in the winter freezing yourself so cold to the bone, and then you'll be wondering why you ever stayed up north.
All right, I'll take your word for it. It seemed like I might be staying here a little bit longer. The bar's doing better than I anticipated, so I'm probably gonna be here for a little bit longer than I initially thought.
Yeah, you got that place open now, don't you?
Yeah, you gotta stop by. It's I get some less than cordial people here and there, but you get them a couple drinks, get their belly full of something, and they're usually pretty good afterwards.
You got people causing trouble for you?
Not necessarily trouble, but people come in, see a free handout, and they try to get more than what is initially offered.
Well, I mean, times are tough, and if you got some people that are kind, you offer them a kindness in return. I know you're good for it.
Yeah, it's hard to try and balance this life of running a bar, but then I have the another bar that I run also. So it's hard being a bartender and just a guy.
Well, owning two businesses, one here and one far away, must be a difficult thing.
Yeah, I got some good partners back home though, so they're doing pretty good.
Well, you know, it's like the seasons, I suppose. You just gotta be mindful of two places at once, two times at once. Put your mind here, put your mind there, put your mind everywhere. You just gotta shift with the times. Be in one place at once, in the other place in the other. And just stay present when present calls.
And not spread yourself too thin to where you're leaning one side more than the other.
That's right.
It's a practice I'm still trying to perfect.
Just make sure you don't let yourself get too angry or too stressed. Don't want
Yeah.
yourself making too much of a mess.
I usually don't. I'm usually not the kind of. I'm usually the one to, see a mess and go and clean it up. Not. I try not to create too many.
Absolutely. But don't be worrying yourself much with cleaning up too many other people's messes. People got to be responsible for themselves.
Yeah, it's people actually taking responsibility for themselves or staying true to what they are. That's the part that's the hard. That's the part that's hardest.
Do you feel like you're being true to yourself?
As true as I can be. It's like I said, it's a weird line to walk. Being at the bar, I got to be the guy who makes the decisions, who got to make the final calls on stuff. But there's times I don't want to do that. But that I chose that. Like, I don't know if you ever been in that position where you chose something or you got something on you, and now you're just kind of stuck with it, and there's nothing really you can do about it.
I spent a long time being responsible for others. That was a hard life. I wouldn't take it back for the world. But time came where it was time to move on. Be responsible for myself and only myself. And don't get me wrong, I still care for others. Very much so. But being responsible to one's own self and just oneself, there's nothing more freeing than that. Being able to just wander the open road, being able to hear stories, but also just being able to let them float upon the wind like motes of dust. Being able to leave burdens behind. That's true freedom. Throwing off the chains. Leaving off the shackles. Just be careful. You get so caught up in other people's stories, you forget to write your own.
Some wise words.
Yeah. I've been around the block a few times. Ridden
At least
enough
twice.
boxcars.
The responsibilities that you have, those people that you're responsible for. You ever think about them?
All the time.
Any regrets?
I once had regrets. Not anymore.
One of my good friends told me that regret is a path easily walked, but easy to get lost on.
Regrets aren't a path. They're a fog. Because you're not walking a path, you're wandering, lost, unaware, stumbling, meaningless, with no direction. Don't know where you're going, don't know where you're coming from. Wandering to and fro. You're never going to end up anywhere. You're just going to keep wandering around and around and around because you have no destination. Part of your mind is always in the past, and the past is gone. There is no road in regret.
Then why do you wander?
Because I'm not looking for a road.
You making your own?
I decided to leave the road, leave all roads behind.
Sounds peaceful in a way.
It is. I just like to float now.
Wherever it takes you.
On the wind, like a leaf on the wind.
Well, I've met a lot of interesting people in my day, but you are easily top 10. Easy.
I'll take that as a compliment.
That I mean it as a compliment. Interesting people are the people I like keeping company with. Normal's boring. Overly eccentric can be too dangerous. So
Well, everybody has a story. Honestly, everything has a story. Not just people. Every leaf, every stone, every piece of paper. Hell, he digs into the jar, pulls out a penny. Imagine where this little piece of copper has been. From when it was dug out of the ground to when it was pressed into this back in 1954. How many pockets has it been in? How many jars? How many cash registers? How many sidewalks has it fallen upon? How many states has it crossed? How many countries? Only to end up here, in this jar. And where will it go from here? Will it end up on a train track somewhere as a fleet of fancy for some school child? Or will it just end up going out of circulation when the government decides they're through with this particular form of currency one day? Or will it end up pressed into a collection? Who knows? Maybe it'll just continue to wander, like me.
Well, you keep that one with you. Keep that penny in particular. And
It's
it'll
going
wander
to a
all over the place.
donation. It's
But
not mine
someone
to
will find
decide.
it.
He
I've thought
drops it
about
back
that.
into the bin.
Thought about that for a few different things. There's those dollar bills that like the whole track where I've been thing. He'll pull out his phone and he'll pull out a dollar with like the QR code and you'll show him. See, this one started Montana, and it's gone to Wyoming, it's gone to Nevada, Texas, and now here, Florida. And that's just what it has since that's been put on here. So yeah, there are a lot of stories with everything. Everything tells a story in some way, shape, or form. And one day when I have more time and you aren't as busy, I want to hear all about your story.
My story. There are a lot of wonderful things I could tell you about my story. But I will tell you this. There are parts of my story that are just a shade I'd like to leave in my past. If you don't mind.
Not at all. That it's your story. You can reveal whatever you want. You can break light on whatever part or keep it in the shadows.
I appreciate that. I just know a good bartender always likes to dig.
I like the ones who tell stories because I like to listen to them. That's why I work at a bar. I get all kinds of stories.
And I'm sure all kinds of secrets too.
Here or there, been known to keep a secret or two.
Well, that's good of you. Good to be a good confidant.
Do what I can. My younger years, much younger, used to use secrets as my form of currency, though. That's how I made it from foster home to foster home.
Boy, are you trying to lecture me about younger years?
No.
How old are you? Like 22?
20, 23. Anyways, so a little bit older.
But tell me about,
Oh.
okay, tell me about this. So you come from the foster care system, yes?
Yeah, when I was a kid, only thing I know is I was dropped off at a hospital, and I was given this, and he'll pull out his wallet again, he'll show him a note. Given this, and that was it. Has my name, Jason. Tells him that my favorite food when I was younger is chicken nuggets. Still like them. And my favorite song was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I was 3. And then went from foster home to foster home to foster home. Some better than others. Some not so great. Some were just looking for a paycheck. Just had a bunch of us kids there. And some had it for good purposes, but actually didn't have the means to give us what we needed. And some were the favorites. So I mostly kept to myself. And when things wouldn't go my way, people would run their mouth, and I'd listen. I would find things out, and then I'd use that to get betterment for myself. To try and either with an extra scrap of food, an extra helping, or extra TV privileges. And kind of what kept me going till my teenage years.
Sometimes what seems like a worse off situation was better than the alternative. Sometimes bouncing around is actually the escape. And it made you what you are. And what you are is a good person.
I try to be.
You are.
I appreciate it.
You left an
But,
unhealthy situation.
A couple times. I'll bore you with my teenage years another time though, because that was a different Jason.
One thing I will tell you, Jason, in all our talks, you will never bore me.
The feeling's mutual. But I feel like I might be warding off some of your donators. So
There's always time for more of that, but I'm sure you got business to attend to and customers that are waiting for you at the Split Helm.
yeah, it's getting a little late. It's getting about that time for opening, and I probably have people at the door already. And
Of course.
like I said, they get a little rowdy.
Absolutely. Well, you run along now. Don't let this old man be an anchor around your waist.
You're far thing from pulling me down, but thank you, and thanks for the candle. I'll probably light that tonight.
You give that a light. It'll clear some things up for you, I'm sure.
All right. Well, he'll reach his hand out and to shake his hand.
As he reaches up and grasps your hand, roll me a stamina and resolve.
Two.
Upon making contact with his hand, as he grasps yours, all of the ambient noise goes quiet. The sounds of the city, even the waves hitting the shore, are muted. It is absolutely silent. Almost in an unnerving sort of way. There's nothing. He shakes your hand, and then as he releases it, all the sound comes back in.
He'll take a couple steps back, look at his hand, look back to Moses. Nice smile. We'll see you around, Moses.
Talk to you soon.
Make his way back to his bike and back to the split helm.
After this, yet another confusing interaction, what's going through Jason's mind?
The responsibilities that Moses talks about that he left behind. Something about that's kind of the tunnel that he's seeing. He wants to dig a little bit further down. Some of the words he said he's hanging on, trying to break them apart, see what the hidden meanings could be. But that last part, that handshake where everything went quiet, that already had 1,000 questions for this guy. 1,000 more alone from that handshake has been brought up. So the ride back is going to be rough. He's going to have a hard time concentrating. His brain's wrapping, trying to get this figured out.
Mysteries on mysteries on mysteries. Several times you find yourself having to correct on the motorcycle as you get honked at by a car that you nearly have to swerve out of the way. to avoid running into the back of as you brake a little too late. But you do safely make it back to the bar. And as you said, there were people waiting outside. Although, you can't help but shake that feeling. Why did everything go quiet? That is very unnerving. Maybe it was just a trick of your mind, but it couldn't be. That is another mystery to be discovered. We transition now to the last scene of the first half of tonight's story. We return to the cairn, where Lucas works diligently on that project that we mentioned earlier. However, it's a few days later, and Lucas, you are finally putting the finishing touches on the table and chairs that you have been working so diligently on. And it is a masterpiece. Jester, you have also been working at the cairn, working along with Eliza, as she has been working on the garden and also some other ornamental work, continuing to spruce up the cairn itself now that you have another pack in the area, making it more presentable and pleasant. And you've seen Lucas proceeding on this project throughout the days, but you know you've wanted to have a conversation with Lucas, especially after hearing about his interaction with Aspen from Charles. So as you go to approach him, you see the work that he's done. Lucas, go ahead and describe what it is you've built.
So, the tree where the clave is hanging has now had a chair, a large chair affixed to it. And coming out from that chair is about a 12 to 13 foot long table carved out of a single felled piece of live oak. There are 10 positions going down either side away from the furthest chair. Each one of those positions, and the chairs are just stumps that are sitting in that area. But each one of those spots has the guru glyph for the sept positions on it. And the last 3 at the very end of the table are unmarked. But also on the edges of the table, going down the table, excluding the sept leader position, that doesn't have one on it, are the 13 symbols of the tribes, not just the 11.
So, Jester, as you approach Lucas, you can see him putting the finishing touches on this masterfully crafted table and chairs. It is a work of art, and you can tell that he has put a great deal of effort into this, much more than probably any other project he's built within the area. It is definitely a sight to behold and will be a focal point for meetings in the future, especially with newcomers to the sept.
I'll give a low whistle. Looking good.
He'll kind of snap out of what he's doing and look over his shoulder at Jester and look back at what he's doing. Yeah, I got tired of sitting at a poker table and folding chairs. Just didn't feel right anymore. This
Didn't fit the vibe.
feels, yeah, this, I needed to do something, so I did this.
Do you not feel you're doing enough?
I've been trying to build houses for like 2 weeks now, and I don't know, I'm just not a house builder. But apparently furniture is a thing I could do, so it just kind of happened.
Well, it looks really, really lovely.
Thank you. Did she send you over here to talk to me?
No. kind of came by myself.
He'll go back to his sanding, still just kind of listening.
Can I sit?
Yeah, your spot's right over there. Or over there, where there's two. But eventually we're all going to have one job, but I guess you get to pick now?
I'll take Telsinger for now. I'll go sit at the Telsinger one. So, how are you doing?
Well, obviously keeping busy, so that's something. But no, I'm good. I did a little a little knocking on the sky for a while and had a good conversation. So I feel better. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels better, but I feel better.
Do you? And I don't just mean about her. I mean overall. Do you feel better? With everything?
No. I mean, we talked about it before. There's still gas in the line. I get way more angry these days than I've ever gotten before, and I lose my temper a lot faster. And I think that's what happened. And do I regret it? Yeah. I might have said some stuff that I didn't mean to say. I think the word delusional came out of my mouth. That's going to go over well. I don't know. I just wanted to do something.
I get it. I get the anger. And the wanting to do something, the wanting to take action, trust me. That was part of the reason I went with Ryder and broke my friends out of jail, is because I was stuck doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it feels. I don't want to propose something and have Aspen's rule of two people be what happens and me being responsible for them getting hurt because I took one of you on something that you weren't ready for. You know what I mean?
It's fair.
I don't want that on me. I don't want that on you guys.
You know why she has the rule, right?
Yeah, I know.
She doesn't want anything to happen to you and us not know.
Yeah, that's new. Not new. I mean, it's been around for a while. I get it, but it's new to me. So,
I am in no way trying to accuse you of anything of this question, but why don't you talk to her about it before you go and do these things? Or talk to anyone about it?
you guys will tell me it's a terrible idea.
Maybe not. You know, you can only ask for forgiveness instead of asking permission for so long before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I may have reached that high water mark on that. So,
You're still here.
anywhere else I wouldn't be. I am thankful for that.
You know you can trust us, right, Lucas? I get things weren't the same at your old sept, and they didn't treat you. What they did to you wasn't right. But it's not the same here.
Up there, they don't. Let me back that up a little bit. Did I ever tell you about my first change?
I don't think you have.
I don't think I've told any of you guys about it, but it's not normal. I mean, you knew, I've told you I grew up my entire life in a sept, and I lived it. It was my upbringing. So I don't consider myself somebody that grew up without a family, and I don't consider myself that grew up without a home. It was what I was, and they knew the whole time that it was going to happen. They knew it was coming. And the night it happened, there were two of us. Well, at least they told us it was going to happen, and they threw this huge moot, and they had us sitting in a place of honor, and they were just there were spirits everywhere, and they were just throwing everything they could, just charging us up. And the guy next to me, he changed, and I didn't. And they snatched him up, they pulled him off, and they celebrated him. He became a Silver Fang. That might be a reason for some things, but that's different. Another story. But those that surrounded me afterwards took me away from all that. The Shadow Lords, they took me off into another part of the cairn, and they surrounded me, and they started berating me and insulting me and telling me how disappointed they were in me. And it fed me, and it fed me, and it fed me until I lost it. So up there, they're not making Guru, they're making zealots. Because I believed for the longest time after that they were right in what they did. And so maybe a little bit of that I'm right no matter what, and I have to believe that because that's what they did, sticks around in me. I don't know. But I'm not there anymore, so I had to figure something out.
It's hard to shake off how you're raised. It creeps in almost on everything you do or how you think. Undoing that takes time and work. Actively thinking about it and trying to change how you're thinking. Honestly, it's how I got through the shit with Leon, is working through some of that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They weren't right. What they did to you wasn't right. No child, Garu, human, Ghislaine, spirit, whatever, no child should be treated like that. No child should be raised like that. You're not a soldier. You're not a zealot.
No, you're You're right. I'm not. It's just when you have everything that you have done, all your training, all your everything put on hold for a long period of time, you get weird. And I think that's what it is I feel sidelined. I feel like I'm not doing anything. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it is. Maybe I shouldn't go out and do the things that I want to do and that I was trained to do because maybe they're not all good things. Maybe that's true.
I think you're looking at. Why aren't you looking at the things you are doing?
I'll take his hand and pat it on the table. That's what I'm trying to do.
You're working with the bikers.
Yep. That's a new experience. That's an odd. I actually do need to talk to you about that. I don't mean to pivot out of this real fast, but that's
Okay.
odd that you bring that up. But um, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. It's
And not just the table. You've done a lot of work on the Caern. You're making this a home for us. And we want you to be part of that home. I mean, if you feel you want to do more, I could always use help tracking down the plants in the wild.
yeah. I mean, if you and Charles find another nest, then please call me.
There's actually a couple areas that Larry told me about that we should look into. So
Okay. I mean, as long as I'm with you guys, I'm sure I won't get in any trouble at the moment. But we'll see how long that simmers.
she's angry too.
Yeah.
She's getting better, but there's still a long way to go.
She told me she was afraid I was going to stab her in the back.
You called her delusional.
I did call her delusional. She was really loud. I called her delusional. Yeah, you're right. That was.
Maybe
Boy, you should have been there. It was good. Mm.
No. No. I would have had to play mediator, but maybe both sides said some things they didn't mean.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of that conversation, I don't know if you heard this, but I got a live sample.
Hmm.
Like sustainably keeping it alive.
Oh, one
Yeah.
of the ones with the eyes?
It's a new one. I actually encountered two new ones. A bush that I'm pretty sure is some kind of area denial security measure. I didn't get near it, but it definitely stunk of the worm. And then some kind of giant, like, flower pod.
Oh, yeah, Jason, I came across that one.
Did you see one of those?
Yeah, it spits out some sort of pollen.
Yeah, there was some around it. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I know I don't know if it's like it seems to build it up and then like I guess when it gets so full it spits it out. At least that's what I think it does. It happened when I was trying to dig it up. Uh Jason and I seem okay. Like I haven't had any weird things happen and I think he's all right.
Okay.
He said he was fine. Um, I
Well,
washed it off as soon as I could.
the one I got is a Venus flytrap.
Haven't heard of one of those.
Nope. She handed it to me herself. So we'll probably do a debrief on this later. But Aspen took it from me because I said I was going to go run some tests on it, and she got mad and said no. So maybe she'll give it to you. I trust you with it. If she didn't throw it out, I hope she didn't throw it out. Please. But yeah, so there's a live sample. It's out there. It's in a terrarium. It's safe.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to her, see if what she did with it. She probably didn't throw it out. She's not completely irrational or anything. She's still pretty on focus for pack concept business, so I don't think she would have thrown something that with that potential out.
Okay. About the club.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Bruce. I had a lengthy conversation with Bruce. Bruce pretty much has a good idea about what's going on with us. And he wants to know more. He says, more or less, he says if we're going to continue the relations that we all have together, he wants to understand what's really happening. I didn't tell him shit because maybe there's some litany rules I'll skirt around, but that one's pretty sacred to me. So I told him, in all fairness, I'll bring it up, we'll discuss it, and we'll go from there. So I just, before I bring it up in a pack meeting, I felt like you specifically deserve to know about that because you've got history with the club. So
I know some of them are aware that things with Ryder weren't. I'm aware some of them know some things or suspect things. They don't know for sure. And I know Larry keeps hinting he wants to be involved, or they want to be involved more. He's just a kid, though.
yeah.
I don't think he gets it.
If anything, I think Bruce is trustworthy, but I don't know about anybody else. And I don't even think in that case, if I had to make the call myself, I wouldn't even let him in on the whole story.
How much would you want to tell him? How much do you think is enough?
Broad strokes, what we are, what we do. As unbelievable as that's going to sound to him, or not, based on what he already thinks he knows. I think that is satisfying enough of what he wanted to know, but we got to come to this decision as a pack.
We should bring it up. They might. Some of them, at the very least, might go digging and get involved in things that they're in over their head with.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Next meeting?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And we often like to find each other out of the blue too, so with as much as prospects cycle through that place, might be worth sending stakes over there to poke around just to make sure.
Yeah, it's fair. Have you tried?
I don't do that anymore, you know that. It's not my place.
Could be.
I learned that lesson the hard way.
You know, lessons aren't to stop doing things, just not to make the same mistakes you made before.
Aspen
Just
would be
think about it.
so mad at you telling me that specifically. Because she definitely wants me to stop doing things.
No, she just wants you to tell her before you do it. Trust me, I've been through this with her.
Yeah.
You just have got lucky and didn't end up getting another Garu killed.
Why go by myself?
Then you'll get yourself killed, and then
That's probably how it's gonna go. Yeah.
you have to live forever as a tree while we deal with the emotional trauma of it.
Oh no, I'm not gonna be by myself. It'll be me and Aiden laughing at the rest of you.
Yeah.
Speaking of making horrible mistakes, um, Eliza talks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought you had bad taste before. He still talks about you at the club. That's neither here nor there. But, really?
Will is a rebound.
That's a word
That's why
for
it
it.
only happened once. He just refuses to believe that. Charles is different.
Like, I like, I like Wonder Bread. I do. So, if I'm gonna say anything, I can tell you're happier.
After Bateman destroyed my hopes and dreams for the life I wanted, I struggled for a long time. He Leon was the kind of final blow in that, and nearly did me in. Except Charles was there, and Charles is kind of giving me new hopes and dreams.
Good. That's good. Believe me, I know what it's like to invest a lot of your emotional energy into something. Maybe not necessarily someone, but something, and then have it all kind of blow up in your face and feel like it's your fault. So I get it. So
Yeah.
go get that fucking happy ending. Somebody's got to around here.
I'm not that naive, Lucas.
Well,
I'll just settle for happy right now.
it's relative. It's all relative. It's all relative.
Maybe you can find happy right now at some point. At least work towards it.
Grandfather told me to build bridges. So I built a table, but I do shit my own way. So here we are. I'll figure it out.
I mean, stand up, uh, take my shoes off, and step on the table.
This thing could hold all of us in Krynos. Don't even think that it can. This thing is strong as shit. This is live oak. What are you talking about?
If you think about it, I'll walk across the table.
Yeah.
Table could be a bridge, get you from one place to another. Oh, walk across it to another seat, one person to another.
It's true. It's very
Jester,
true.
as you're stepping on the table, a vision takes you. You find yourself in a clearing. The clearing that is the cairn. The trees around you are tall and old and umbral. The wild is taking hold. The ground is rich and full. The area is crowded. You are surrounded by individuals that you don't recognize, but they seem familiar. All of them. They're all standing in a circle around two figures in the center. One of them is the white wolf you've come to know as Alara, and the other one is Aiden. They're both in lupus form, sitting, staring at each other. Everyone surrounding them is pounding on their chests in rhythm as Alara stands up and starts pacing around Aiden. Aiden just sits, not moving, as Alara paces around him. And then she stops in front of him once more. And he dips his head to her. And she dips her head to him in kind. And the vision ends.
Kind of stumble a bit once I get the vision and kind of go quiet and stand still.
Kind of step forward, like arms out, like, are you good?
I'm okay. Was this wood from here?
Yeah, I didn't cut it down. It was already down.
Ah, cool. Cool. So I've been learning something new. Touch
Okay.
the trees, you get kind of memories from people of the past, but that was not of the past. I think Aiden's becoming a spirit. I don't know. It's a weird vision.
I didn't like make a table out of somebody, did I?
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think we
Okay.
literally
'Cause
become trees as much as I joke about it.
I would feel really, really bad about that if I did that. Okay. And nothing happened to me. I haven't touched this thing like all week. So, uh, fine. Okay.
Hmm. Talked to Eliza about it, but I saw a circle of people. I think they're spirits from the old tribe that belonged here that opened this cairn. Created it, actually. They were apparently very brilliant at creating cairns before they disappeared. Um, they were surrounding the white wolf. Her name's Alara. And Aiden, both in lupus wolf forms. And it looked like Alara circled him, and then she kind of nodded at him, and Aiden nodded back. That's really all, like, most of what I got.
And that sounds in line with what Eliza more or less told us was going to happen when we did the thing.
Yeah.
Good for him,
Yeah.
I guess. That feels like a good for him thing. That feels
I
like
think so.
I have the weird urge to clap, but that feels wrongly inappropriate, but okay. Okay. I guess I'll have to have her come over and take a look at this thing.
Definitely. You know, I've been telling this to the others too. You can always talk to him. He may not be able to respond right now, but he can hear you.
Yeah, I'll probably get around to that at some point.
And if you want to try for a response, you could always touch the tree. It'll point to the one with the hole. Dug out the little. One of the new ones. She touched the tree and had Aiden's memories of his final moments.
That must have been significantly traumatic.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. It's the spirit thing has always been a weird subject with me. So, yeah,
I get
maybe
it.
I'll give it a try at some point.
You don't have to. Like I said, if you want to. I haven't. I'm not ready.
All right. Hey, grab some sandpaper. Let me finish this thing out.
Okay.
As two pack members set to finishing a project that will hopefully be a lasting image, a lasting symbol of a growing sept. There's an understanding built, a foundation, a comfort, and hopefully some healing. Good cop, as opposed to Aspen's bad cop last week. Hopefully Lucas feels that there is some support within the sept to be had. And that vision. Maybe there is something to the spiritual side of things in this cairn. But it does leave some questions. There are so many mysteries to this sept. But those will have to be answered later. Because this pack has a mission. And we'll get to that mission when we return from the break in just a few minutes. See you shortly. back. The first half of tonight's story was all about mysteries, but the second half of tonight's story is all about the title of the episode, Boys versus Girls. And that's because tonight's episode is about the mission, and the mission is uncovering what Pentax has been up to through the use of their subsidiary, High Quality Builders. Because there are 3 locations that High Quality Builders has been working at in the local Tampa area. One of those was investigated by Stakes Her Claim, the mentor of the Hellhounds Pack, where it was found that they had planted some of these interesting seeds that she managed to dig up. But there were 2 more sites that this pack has decided to split up and investigate. One of the groups, composed of Lucas, Jace, and Charles, has gone to investigate a site up in Old Seminole Heights, a newly developed area that was purchased and now has been constructed upon by High Quality Builders. The other, a site that is being investigated by Aspen, Jester, and Eliza, we'll get to in a little bit. But we'll start with Lucas, Jace, and Charles. Heading up to Old Seminole Heights is just a trip up I-275 north of downtown Tampa. It's a suburb of Tampa that has gone through a bit of a facelift in recent years. It's just a little bit north of the university, off of the highway, and it's been run down for a while, but it's seen a resurgence as of late. And taking advantage of that resurgence, High Quality Builders has taken one of the neighborhoods and basically completely renovated it. They've torn down a lot of the old houses, they've bought out a bunch of the property, and now they're constructing a bunch of new houses in the area, in a subdivision area, and they are trying to sell off a lot of these homes that they are constructing. Now, one of the things that research of High Quality Builders has shown is that they are anything but high quality. They are definitely nice looking on the outside, but the materials they use are often very shoddy and definitely not environmentally friendly, as is often the Pentax way. So, in going to check out this particular area, what time of day would you all decide to head out to look into this particular location? Now, I will say, in research, you've found that a couple of the units have been completed and sold and moved into, but a majority of the complex is still under construction and being built.
I think late evening
Okay.
probably be the best bet.
So before dark, around dark, or after dark?
After.
Okay. Okay, so arriving probably around 10, 11 o'clock at night, are we thinking, or later than that?
You guys should be fine.
Okay. So everybody driving together, I'm guessing piling into Charles's car, or are we driving separately?
Begrudgingly, Lucas would probably ride with Charles because his bike is just too loud.
Yeah, probably same.
Yeah.
So everybody having met up at the biker club where Jace and Lucas had been building a bike together, as that is a project that the two of you had wanted to be working on. You piled into Charles's luxury sedan and took the ride up to the site in Old Seminole Heights. Arriving at the complex, you can definitely see a large sign outside that says, now selling homes in the 400K range. You can see that a couple of the units near the driveway that leads to Sly Avenue, a major roadway that is an exit directly off of the highway. You pull into the complex, some of the houses almost right off the road are already sold. You can see a couple of them have lights on, but a lot of the lights are out in a couple of the houses. There are cars parked in the driveway, but almost immediately from the roadway further in, you can see frameworks of houses being built, and even further in, there is just completely leveled areas that they haven't even started building the foundations of houses yet. This seems like a complex where people can design their own homes if they want to, but a lot of the homes are probably just formatted, built all the same style homes. As Charles goes to pick a parking spot, he decides to park across the street, not directly in the complex itself.
Lucas will dig in his bag and he'll take out 3 earpieces, the ones that Artie gave him, and he'll hand them out to Charles and Jason.
Charles looks towards Lucas with a small smirk and says, I know I'm not the stealthy type, so I don't want to ruin this for you. Why don't you take the lead? And he gives him a kind of a smile.
Oh, silver fangs. Okay, fine. Come on, Jace, let's go.
He'll shakingly pull out the pistol he got. Well, I need this or leave it in the van?
I think we're good on that. Yeah, I'd really prefer you set that down right now. That's...
Charles, where do you want this?
He holds out a hand to take the gun from you.
It is loaded. No one showed me how to actually do the thing, so careful.
Checks the safety, makes sure it's on, puts it in the center console.
Right? Yeah, you just earned that one. Let's go, Shakes. Come on.
Okay. All right. I was told whatever.
Oh, nope, that's sticking. It's yours.
All right, sticky shoes. Let's go. He'll get out of the
That's
van.
fair.
Okay, climbing out of the car, you can see the entrance to the complex pretty much directly across the street. Charles chose some street parking that is facing the complex itself. At current view, there doesn't seem to be anything off-putting. It is a brand new built complex. There is a freshly paved driveway leading in. It looks like there are planter boxes that kind of lead the direct divided driveway that head in. It is a very nicely manicured entryway heading in, but there is definitely an emphasis on landscaping. There are a lot of flower beds, a lot of planter boxes and gardening. Plants are an emphasis to this particular established area. Now, I will say it is very new, so it doesn't seem like a lot of plants have sprung up. But there are some bushes, some stuff that probably was pre-grown to be planted in, especially for style and aesthetics.
Lucas, I know that you're taking point on this, but you mind if I do just a quick recon on the other side before we just walk into this?
It is 100% on you, man. Go right ahead. While he's doing that, I'll just make sure that the earpieces are good. Do a mic check with Charles.
Everything seems to work.
Do a wits and wisdom, and I will burn 1 willpower.
Okay, so as you tune yourself to the other side, as often described, a photo negative laying over the photo itself, you get the blurry vision that allows you to see both sides. The problem with seeing a new development is the ravaging it does to Gaia. It is brutal. It is a fresh, gaping, open wound to the Umbra. Now, to be fair, this was previously a built-upon area, so it's not as terrible as fresh wilderness being torn down. It's not like these were trees that were ripped down that had been growing for hundreds of years. This was an already built-upon area, so you're not seeing a lot of, gaping wounds, anything like that. But it does still look rough. It's still not great. But a lot of the weaver is at work here. You definitely see a lot of pattern spiders hard at work, moving around. Roll me a wits and occult, however, as you are looking, because something seems off already upon looking at the other side almost immediately.
Would my specialty apply to this roll at all?
What is your specialty?
Banes.
Yes.
That's 6.
Okay. Almost immediately, something's wrong with the pattern spiders. You're not able to identify what it is, but the look of the pattern spiders seems distorted. They seem infected in some way or disturbed in some way. There is like a strange growth attached to them, as if something has burrowed itself onto the side of them or has grown out of the side of them. So they are working as they should, but it's like they either have a ride along or something is working through them as they are moving along. Like they are almost working in collaboration with a Bane of somehow, or possibly have even been crossbred with a Bane of some type. They are almost like a crossbreed of Weaver and Worm. It's very unusual, unlike anything you've ever seen before. Usually there is a distinct difference between Weaver and Worm. This is both.
A look to Charles and Lucas. Let's approach a little more cautious. The obvious Weaver here and worm weavers. I haven't seen this. These pattern spiders, they're working normally as far as on the umbral side, but they have this, I don't know, this pulpous thing on them. They're doing the thing though. They're doing the things on this side. Nothing too out of the just this. I've never seen this, so I think we should just maybe be a little more cautious about moving forward.
Charles speaks up through the earpiece. I would advise any crossing over at the moment stay on this side. While it
Okay.
is concerning, there's very little they could do to harm you on this side. It's worth keeping an eye on, but it's nothing to concern yourself with as long as you remain out of the Umbra.
All right, I'll just keep eyes on it then.
No.
I'll just follow you, and then I'll let you know if anything else happens.
Yeah, let's just just two perfectly respectable looking dudes walking through a housing development. Yeah, let's head in. You said there was stuff growing out of them. Did it look plant like?
Does it look organic?
It's hard to say from this distance. You are pretty far away. You're across the street, and the Umbra, the distance is even harder to say. You'd have to get right up on them, and even then, you'd probably have to cross over to see for sure what it is, because it is like a photo negative. It's very blurry, and it's hard to detail.
To be honest,
They
Lucas,
just look distorted for sure.
to be honest, I'm not sure to give you an honest answer. There's definitely something weird about them, but short of actually going over and looking closely, I'm not gonna be able to actually let you know.
As we're walking into the complex, is like, do you know there are certain types of plants that can hijack other things, certain types of funguses that can hijack insects? So if we get close and it looks like it's some kind of fungal growth, just let me know.
It's like spores and stuff,
I mean,
gills and
that's.
stuff.
I mean, yeah, it'll look like. I'm trying to remember, like spikes or mushrooms. I'm not sure how that works. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here too. So
Okay. Yeah. If I see anything like that, I'll point it out.
It's funny that he should mention that. Jason, roll me a stamina and resolve.
Rage is still at 1, just to make sure, right?
I'll say your rage is at a 2. You are going on a
Is that
mission.
true?
That would
Okay.
probably have increased your rage.
2.
That noise, the talking, you thought it was the boardwalk when you first heard it. It starts again. Voices start entering your mind, talking. That yellow, blurry ring around your eyes starts to appear, fogging your vision. You hear the talking coming from the 2 closest houses. One of it, the closest, seems to be coming from one of the houses with the lights on. One
did you
is
hear that?
near. One is near. They're coming. They're coming. One is near.
Oh man, I just hear you.
Just a second. He'll start making his way. Gonna crouch down, trying to be somewhat quiet, hearing that they're here, and try and make his way over closer to the sound.
Roll me a dexterity and stealth.
Is the development well lit? Like, are there street lights?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I can see relatively well, even though it's dark. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
4.
Melting into the shadows, finding your way. You manage to maneuver around the pools of light that come down from the streetlights, ducking in between cars of that nearby house. Maneuvering towards the garage by the house, pressing yourself up against it. As far as you can tell, you're unseen. What do they wish? What do we wish? What do we need? What do they wish? Tell us, tell us.
Are there any windows or anything to the garage, like looking in?
Not in the garage. I mean, there's probably those slats that look in the garage itself. Probably about 4 feet, 5 feet up. It's one of those roll-up garages, so it's probably the second up from the top of the garage.
Gonna go around to see if there's is there any like motion sensor of lights or cameras
Yes.
above the garage? There is. Okay. Going to on the earpiece.
Not
Luger,
cameras, but lights for sure.
lights for sure.
Yeah.
I got people talking in this garage asking wishes. What do we ask for? What do we wish for?
I don't hear anything. What do you? Is this a spirit thing?
I don't know that I'm hearing it as clear as I'm hearing you.
No,
You're not
I-
hearing anything.
no, I don't hear anything.
All right. Cautiously gonna kind of step back from it. On the umbral side, do I see anything with this garage?
Nothing.
It looks. I don't think it's a spirit because, as far as the other side, there's nothing here.
Well, how come you could hear it and I can't?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's me. I can do things.
I'm gonna move closer quietly, see if I can get closer to that garage to be able to hear whatever it is that he's hearing.
Roll me a dexterity and stealth. Join us. Come closer, closer. Join, join, collect, join.
Or successes.
4 successes again. Just like Jason, you're able to move into the shadows, following almost in his footsteps in his path, not triggering the motion sensors of the garage. You're able to slip through close to the garage itself.
You're asking for someone to join?
In the house?
It's coming from inside the garage.
Okay. I'm gonna peek up into one of the little slat windows. Is there a light on in the garage, or is it completely dark?
Completely dark.
I'm gonna activate my Eyes of the Owl. So I'll spin the willpower point for that.
Okay.
And then once that on, take another peek to see if I can see anything now that it's not dark for me.
So you focus, calling upon the spirit of the owl to activate your gifts, closing your eyes for a moment before opening them, getting the glow, the yellowing of the owl's eyes. You get the grayscale view to the other side. Inside, there's a parked car, some lawn supplies off to one side, a bunch of bags of fertilizer off to the other side, stacked up. Maybe for landscaping purposes? Seems like they have a lot of gardening supplies. Perhaps they do intend to garden. There are a lot of garden beds around the house. So maybe they do take care of their garden. But there's nobody here. There's nothing inside out of the ordinary. A lot of fertilizer, but again, there's a lot of garden beds around the house.
Come back down and crouch next to Jason. I don't see anything in there. Just a garage with garage stuff. I mean, enough fertilizer to, I don't know, maybe show up on a federal watch list, but I mean, they just moved in, maybe, so
Okay. Maybe it's something a little bit further out in the Umbra that I'm picking up on. I don't know.
Welcome, welcome. Come inside. Welcome.
Now they're saying come inside. You didn't see anything. I'm not seeing. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go back up and look at. I assume the garage door has one of those automatic garage door openers.
It has the keypad, yeah, with like you punch in the number to open the door from the outside.
Does it have like hanging down? Does it have one of those red emergency pull cords?
Oh, from in the inside, yes.
Yeah. Is there enough gap to be able to stick something in there on the top of the garage, just to go over the top of the door to try to get over?
It would be very hard to jimmy. It'd be very hard to do it. It's pretty far in when the garage is closed to get. It'd be very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Oh, I wish Artie was here. All right, man. Do you need to get in there? Like, is this a thing?
There's something in there asking me to come join. I don't know if they need help or what, but if something's needing help, I want to be able to help them out.
Okay. Okay. This isn't going to be easy. Garage doors are not quiet to get into. So I don't know. Can you talk to one of the spiders for this?
I can try. Kent, with Streetwise, am I able to look at this garage door and see if it's able to be that has a dual lock on the bottom, or if it's a single pin?
Sure. Well, that'd be more of a technology than a streetwise.
Would be a tech?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do a wits and technology if you want to.
Sure. 3.
This is a newer garage. It's going to be a dual pin.
This garage, we can't even jimmy that single pin. They got individual locks on either side.
At
I
this
might come
point,
back.
one of the front windows light turns on. And standing in the window is a man just staring.
Staring at us?
Yes. Welcome. Come in. Welcome. Welcome.
At this point, could he see that? I'll stand up. Hello. From the your garage was put on the overall recall list, so we're just making sure that it's still manufactured correctly. It looks a little faulty, so we just need to get in there and take a look.
Oh, hello. No problem. Let me come open it for you.
Thanks, man.
Steps away from the window.
Lucas will just look at him. That worked.
Manufactured places, recalls happen all the time, right?
Smooth.
Moment later, you see the light flip on in the garage. And then after that, the garage doors start to roll open. The man standing inside the garage is easily a person you would pass over. Very, honestly, Stepford looking. Dressed in like a sweater with button-up shirt underneath, slacks, dress shoes, hair parted to the side. So you said there's something to do with a recall?
Yeah, sorry about the hour. Normally, dispatch calls to let you guys know to leave the doors unlocked. I'm Michael. This is Leonard. We're just here to make sure that the dual pins are working on them. They have an issue with actually interlocking into the actual lock itself. It might take a little bit, but we'll be out of your hair in probably 20 minutes.
Of course. Have a look.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a whiff as soon as he opens that garage door and I get line of sight on him. I'm going to scent the true form.
Okay.
So it's wits and wisdom and another willpower. It's 3 successes.
This is the strangest smell you've probably experienced so far. You smell the wild and the worm.
Checks out.
On the penumbral side, how does this guy look?
You don't see anything different. He's on this side.
Okay. All right. All right, Leonard, let's take a look at this garage.
Come on in. Yes, welcome. Come in. Yes, come in. Join us. Come in. Yes.
Lucas will start inspecting the roller tracks for the garage and just seeming to look busy as best he can.
Going to make his way over towards Lucas, inspecting. This guy seem a little more off than most of the Florida people here.
Oh, he's super off. Jason, he's real off. He's stinks of 2 different things. Just not common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to come inside and have a look at the paperwork, we just had it installed. Jason, give me a wits and resolve as you feel something tug at you to follow.
3.
Almost immediately, you start walking towards the door. Feeling
Yeah,
the need to go.
guess I'll have a look at that paperwork.
Hey, whoa, hey. I'll try to grab him by the back of his jacket. Oh, we're not done looking at this yet.
Might get something from that paperwork. You know, some additional things that might need to be done with the garage.
Yeah. Do I notice anything off about him suddenly wanting to go in the house now?
Give me a wits and insight.
Three successes.
His attitude definitely changed.
I'm gonna keep a hold of his jacket and give two. I'm just gonna reach up and give 2 little taps on the earpiece, like I'm scratching my ear.
Okay. You get 2 taps in response.
Yeah. It's company policy. We gotta travel together.
Well, come on
you know,
in.
it's insurance purposes. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, just paperwork, man. Nothing to worry about. I'll kind of like shrug off, trying to get him to let go.
I'll follow them in.
Walking into the house, it's a very standard living situation. Very, very clean. Everything has its place. It seems model home-esque clean. What's even more haunting is you walk into the dining room and there is a wife and 2 kids sitting at the table who both, or all 3, just look simultaneously at you as you walk in. And Jason, in a chorus, they all say in your head, "Welcome."
Thanks for having us.
Let me get that paperwork for you.
Thank you.
In the center of the table is a beautiful floral spread with one of those tulip plants in the center of the table.
Gonna turn back to Lucas briefly and kind of nudge him a little bit, like, it's an interesting looking plants.
Yeah, where'd you guys pick those up?
Oh, my wife loves to garden.
Yeah, but where'd you get them? Gardening's great and all, but like if we wanted to garden.
Oh, you're the one with the green thumb, honey. What do you say? Oh, well, we went to the botanical gardens and they were offering out seeds. Seems it's an exotic plant that they brought in from Spain.
It's pretty.
They say if you grow it in a controlled environment, it's very beautiful.
You did a great job on your arrangement.
Thank you.
You got that paperwork, sir?
Oh, yep, be right back. Turns around and heads over to a staircase leading up to a 2nd floor. The 2 kids just continue to stare at you.
Hey guys.
You hear the earpiece pick up what's going on in there.
Lucas will like reach down and look at his phone and just kind of like and kind of keep within like 5 steps of Jason, But pick his phone up and not really act like he's talking on it, but not call anybody. We're inside the house. There's something very off about the people in here. Jason is not himself.
After a few moments, the man comes back downstairs. He stops, holding paperwork, and looks at Lucas. Here's that paperwork for you, and passes it over to you. On the paperwork, it reads, "Hello, Lucas. I thought we said we weren't going to get in each other's way." I would appreciate it until we are working a little more collaboratively. If you return to your own business. Much appreciated. Signed, Vanessa.
Lucas will kind of nod as he's going over it and just kind of like motion at it, like, "Oh yeah, okay, oh yep, that's good." He'll kind of step forward. He'll kind of like tap Jason on the shoulder. He's like, "Yeah, this it's good. It's good paperwork. We're looking good on this. I think there must have been a confusion back at the home office. They've already got their new replacement parts. I think we're good here."
Yeah, those cold calls. Sorry about that, folks.
He's like, he looks at the guy. He's like, I'm gonna take this back to the office. We'll mail you a new one. Don't worry about it.
Righto. Thanks for stopping by, though. Appreciate the concern.
Yeah, you guys take care, and it's kind of late for your kids, but I'm not their parent. He'll turn around and
Spring break.
walk out.
Don't you know it?
Yeah.
You're right. Make his way out.
Just pushing on his back as we're walking out through the garage.
Jason, give me another wits and resolve. You really don't want to leave. This seems like a perfectly fine place to be.
Can I burn a will?
Yes.
Four.
You do feel the voices start to fade, and you are able to kind of push yourself out.
As we get out, I'm sorry. That was weird.
You good now?
I don't know, to be completely honest. I haven't had to deal with something quite like that kind of pull before. Yeah, I'm clear now, I think.
As you depart the garage, you see Charles is already at the end of the driveway.
I'll just give him the... And as we get to the end of the driveway, I'll just look at Charles and be like, "We got to get Jason to Eliza right now."
All right. What's wrong?
Something with my head. It's hard to explain. I'm hearing things that aren't there, but are. I don't know, man. It's something. It's weird. I got a voices coming through.
Jester had mentioned that you had been hit by the spores, but that you
Yeah, she told me too.
feeling
Yeah, but I
all
was-
right.
Relatively fine. Like, nothing happened initially.
Initially isn't what I was concerned about.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Term effect.
Yeah, nothing but relatively fine about what just went on in that garage. So while we do have work here, you are not okay. You are compromised.
No, that's fair.
So I'd say we abort. Charles?
Agreed. Very well. We'll return and report and see what we can do about your condition.
Okay. Keeps looking back at the house the entire time as they're walking away, trying to figure out what this was.
As you're watching, you can see standing in the front window is the man just watching, tracing your steps. Looking to the other house across the street, there is another person standing in the window, also watching your steps as you leave.
Hey, Lucas. He'll point to the other person.
Yeah, I'm tracking that too. Yep. Hey, you ever drink a gallon of apple cider vinegar?
No.
Well, we're gonna do that on the way there. So, I hope you're ready. We got to start cleansing everything out of your system.
All right. Whatever you say.
Once you return to the car, climbing in, Jason, you feel your head start to pound as a headache starts to settle in. Getting further and further away from the house, it starts to turn into a splitting headache. Take 2 more points of willpower damage, superficial, as you pull further and further away from the house. What's going through your mind, Lucas, as you get further from this situation?
Everything's just kind of confirming what she told him. This all checks out from what he has seen, from what Jester said that happened to them, and what Vanessa told him. He's hoping that the immediate, and in his opinion, on multiple levels, right decision to get Jason out of there as fast as possible will be seen by Vanessa as him doing what she asked him to do. So that if that door is going to stay, it's still available if we decide to use it later on.
Jason, the headache does eventually fade. When you do go to sleep that night, the dreams are pleasant. Once again, euphoric even. When you dream, things are better. Things are always better in dreams now. It's waking that's the nightmare, it seems. We transition now to our other investigation, because this was the boys. Now it's time for the girls. Our second investigation takes place at the Gulfwood Estates, which is a neighborhood just near the Tampa airport. This neighborhood is so close to the airport, in fact, that you can hear the planes arriving and taking off. It doesn't seem like it'd be an ideal location for a neighborhood to be with that kind of traffic overhead. In fact, it would be probably pretty cheap living. However, it would be really easy to get to the airport. Having an international airport so close nearby, it'd be pretty easy to get to and from the airport. It's actually a great place if you're an international businessman or if you have to travel regularly. But traffic around here could also be problematic. Maybe that's why the housing here is on the cheaper side. So as you arrive in the neighborhood, you can see why these houses are probably in need of refurbishment. You can tell that this was a much needed renovation job for this particular neighborhood. High Quality Builders is more than happy to answer the call for renovation, of course, and they're willing to do so at a very affordable price. As you arrive, It is on the more run-down side of things, but it does look like it has been in the process of sprucing up. What time of day would you want to arrive to do this particular project?
I think it would be at night around the same time as the others, after construction and everyone is gone.
Okay. So who's driving? Are you all riding together? I'm guessing Aspen, since she's the one with the car.
Yes, Aspen would pick everyone up and take them.
Okay, so as Aspen, Jester, and Lucas, or Aspen, Jester, and Eliza arrive on the scene, you pull up to, it's one apartment building that appears to be doing the renovation project. Now, everyone has been moved out. It looks like this building is being completely redone under new management and new ownership. They've brought in high quality builders to completely redo the building before leasing to new tenants. So it's not a house itself, it's an entire apartment complex that's being redone by high quality builders in this particular case. So it looks like that they've already completed one building, but they are in the process of redoing another. The entire parking lot is empty. There is nobody currently present as you arrive. What the primary focus has been is a lot of the landscaping has been redone, as well as the interiors and exteriors of the building. The first thing that catches your eye as you pull into the complex is these new bushes that appear to have been put in that are lining the parking lot. They are shrubs that are very, very well manicured, almost box-like, that line the entire parking lots up to the walkways, almost in a kind of like wall-like fashion, all the way down the parking lots and the sidewalks that lead to the apartment complex, as well as lining the walkways that lead up to the building are planter beds that go up to the buildings themselves. As you pull into the parking lot and find a parking space, Eliza is already looking with that kind of far off gaze around the area. I'm already not liking the look of this.
What do you see?
Well, nothing pleasant, to say the very least. The Weaver is hard at work here, but different. It's not the Weaver we know and love. Not Tampa's Weaver. Not the Weaver of old. This is different. The Weaver has been interfered with. Now, I have seen the way this particular organization does business before, and usually the Weaver is not one to judge. It does what it does regardless. It does not act on the will of any particular agency. It builds. It maintains. But this, it's trying to build. It's trying to maintain. It is trying to act. But it is being manipulated somehow, which is not normal, to say the very least.
I'm gonna put the aura shades on.
As you do so, you also see to the other side, and you see exactly what she's talking about. You see the spiders moving about, and you see the strange growths as described in the previous scene. They have these bulbous masses that seem to be sprouting out of their bodies.
That does look weird.
Indeed.
Reminds me of something. Gonna have to go and look at it later, though. If you can't.
As
I'll
you
look it up
walk,
later.
give me a wits and investigation, Jester, as you're watching the spiders as well.
Two successes.
Take an extra die with Eliza's guidance as well,
Okay.
as she
3
pointed them
successes.
out. What's even stranger is that they aren't focused as much on the buildings. They seem to be focused more on the garden, which is not their way.
They seem to be focused on the garden. And as I'm watching them, I'm gonna actually look at the bushes since Lucas mentioned that he saw bushes there.
The spiders are working on the bushes specifically, and the bushes seem to be a mix of wild and weaver.
Wild and Weaver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But tainted weaver.
The
Like you
bushes
see
seem
the
to be-
spider webs, but the spider webs seem odd.
The bushes seem to be some sort of mix of Wild and Weaver.
I noticed
Kinda
that as well. Very
Tainted
perceptive.
Weaver. Lucas looked to Aspen on his latest outing or field trip. Mentioned he saw some bushes that he thought were like some sort of protection. He said he smelled
Yeah.
a worm on them.
Yeah, he told me about the things he saw. Let's see if we can get any bags of fertilizer to bring back. If we can get any of these bushes that are still potted and not planted. Anything that we can find that we can bring back.
Okay.
I would caution against getting too close to these particular bushes. There is something. Well, they're unnatural, to say the very least. This combination of wild and weaver concerns me.
Is there any way, what should we be looking out for particularly? That way we could maybe get some of these out while we're here as well.
Well, let me see. And she climbs out of the car and moves to get a little closer to one of the bushes and kind of hunches down and starts to study the bush a little bit closer. She extends a hand towards the bush, and as she reaches out, a tendril of the bush comes shooting out, trying to wrap around and grasp at one of her hands, and she recoils back out of its reach before it can grab her. That's what I was afraid of.
Security measures.
Right.
Great.
Regardless, it's still not safe for others around. We should
I don't think
rid of
these
what we-
react to people.
All right.
I could be wrong. And you're right, it should be dealt with in case they do. But if these were planted by people, which is a pretty safe assumption, as workers would have had to plant these, I'm not sure that's what triggers it.
Okay. even if they were particularly working with the ones who made these?
They'll use regular gardeners, people who have no knowledge of what they're doing. It's a company just like any other company.
Right. Okay, well. Jester, did you bring anything that we could quickly dispatch these bushes without getting too close, or you're more of the handy in the garden, you and Eliza?
Got a flamethrower in the trunk?
No.
I didn't think so.
Sorry, didn't think I brought a flamethrower. The best I got is a spray bottle.
Oh, even longer shears could potentially do something. But
I mean, there's the clave.
That actually might work.
we could try that. I think we need to, well, take care of whatever they've got going on here as much as we possibly can.
Okay.
I have
As I'm
a theory that if it's drawn to Guru, and this is a very strange theory, perhaps it is made of pot Guru. Or at least manufactured of something having to do with Guru. So if it reacts negatively to silver, that would be a telltale sign.
Goody.
I can give it a try. Before I do, 2 questions as we're looking around. One, are there any security cameras?
Good question. Roll me a wits and awareness.
Can I take aid for Aspen and
Yeah.
Eliza? Okay. I'll spend willpower. Four successes.
With 4 successes, it does look like there are security cameras, but they seem to be more focused on the buildings themselves. They aren't focused primarily on the greater grounds. So at the moment, you seem to be okay where you're positioned currently.
Okay. So if I went after these bushes, they wouldn't be in the area of the...
Not until you get closer to the buildings, and the bushes are lining the grounds all the way up to the buildings.
Okay. I can get some of them, but there's security cameras near the buildings, so if you want me to get closer, that's going to have to be taken care of. And second question, is there, like, since this is still renovations being made, is there a, like, site or section of this parking lot that they are using as, like, construction area, you know, where they keep the, like, equipment and all the supplies and things like
Absolutely.
that? And we're probably going to find any fertilizer over there.
Okay, well, just get rid of what you can, see what happens, what the reaction is. I'll go check.
Okay.
You could, and of course hesitant to suggest this, reach out to a certain glasswalker to see if he can do anything about those cameras.
Look to Aspen.
Yeah, okay. I'll pull
Just
out
a
my phone.
suggestion.
I will pull out my phone, stare at it for a second, click Artie, and I'll try to call him since it's kind of, we're in the site right now.
It rings a few times. And then it picks up. Hello?
Hey, we're kind of in the middle of something down here at Gulfwood Estates, and there's some cameras that we're running into some issues with. We're trying to get rid of some of these creepy plants I was telling you about.
Right. Yeah, give me a second. Gulfwood Estates, you said?
Yes.
You have the address for me?
You should have it. It's
Oh,
in the
right.
information you sent to me.
Yes, got it. Yeah. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
Do you see a red light on the cameras? Probably not. Shit, they don't really have those anymore. This isn't a movie. Okay. Give me 10 minutes. I'll shoot you a text when they're down.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Be safe, please.
I will.
Okay.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you too.
She'll just quickly hang up and put it back in her pocket. He should be taking care of it. He's gonna send me a text and it should, well, it's already, so it should be good.
Right.
But anyways, I'm gonna go check the stuff over here. I'll let you know when I get the text.
Okay. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna shift into Glabber.
Sorry, rolling for Artie's hacking. All right. So, as you shifted to Glabber, roll the rage check.
Succeed. I made it.
As you grow into the demi-human size, your muscles filling out, grasping the clave with both hands. It almost seems like a short sword in both hands in this demi-human size, even though it's a much larger blade when it was in its full form. It seems smaller now that it's broken off, but still a pretty decently sized weapon. You move to strike the bushes. I'm not even going to make your roll. They're bushes. They aren't exactly going anywhere. They're rooted in the earth. What I do need you to do, however, is roll me a dexterity and athletics to get out of the way, as the nearby bushes are also going to try and thrash out at you. As you're trying to nimbly avoid them.
Six successes with a crit.
Okay. So as you're doing an elaborate dance while cutting through these bushes, as you slice them, there is a almost metallic sound as you're cutting through them. When you're cutting the bushes, it's almost like a strange metal on metal sensation slicing through them, as if there's like a metallic core within the wood that makes up the branches of the bushes. And once you cut through them, you can see exactly why. Because in the core of the branches is a silvery sheen. Were one of these branches to catch you, you would be hit with silver. Luckily, you managed to avoid it this time. Cutting them does destroy them, but it does not mean that they will be always easily to destroy. This time you were able to cut through them, but it's going to take effort to get rid of all of them. There seems to be like a silvery kind of injection in the wood itself.
Oh, like it would hit you and inject silver, possibly.
Kind of.
Does
Aspen.
the
Yeah, sorry.
yes, real quick, does the bush disintegrate
Yes.
after it's cut down?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's, yeah,
Almost
that's what I figured.
instantaneously. So as you move over towards the construction area, Not even 3 minutes later, you get the text saying, "Got it."
I'll just text quickly back, thank you. And I'll yell over to Jester. Already took care of it, so you should be good.
Moving over towards the construction site where most of the goods are, you can see that they have a lot of basic construction equipment, but there is also some more heavy duty stuff, some earth movers for a lot of the more big heavy duty landscaping projects. They definitely have some stuff for redoing and repaving the parking lot itself, probably something they're saving for when they're really finished at the end of the project. They've got some big dumpsters for when they're hollowing out the interiors of the apartments themselves, a lot of masonry equipment for redoing the brickwork on the outside, and some big metal storage units with large padlocks that it seems maintains a lot of the supplies that they are using on the job inside, the kinds that they load up on the backs of big trucks to bring in and then slide off. And there are a couple of trucks parked here as well.
Okay, I'm gonna start in the shed area.
Okay. So how do you want to get in?
You said there's a big... It's like being held closed?
Yeah, it's like a padlock, yeah.
Okay, could I go into Glabro and try and break the padlock?
Sure. Roll me the rage check to shift up.
I am good. Succeeds.
Okay. Again, growing into the demi-human size, your muscles filling out. You grab the lock with one hand and attempt to twist it. Give me a strength and athletics to try and break the lock.
Three.
Okay. You try to twist the lock off in your hand, but it is a heavy-duty lock. It is bending, but it will not quite break with this attempt.
What is the door made of?
It's metal. It's a big metal door. It's like one of those moving big storage unit doors.
Oh, okay. Okay. I will look over to Jester. Mind helping me with this lock when you get a second?
Yeah. No. Finish the plants I was destroying and head over to her. There's silver in the plants. Like there's a silver core or injection in the actual plants. Vines and branches.
I wasn't so utterly disgusted by these plants. I would actually be interested in how they were made.
Yeah. Door?
Yeah.
Give me a strength and athletics.
And I'll help with her trying to break it off as well.
Yeah, you can take an additional die.
Can I take an additional die for my favor?
Sure. There's a barrier in your way.
Cool. 5 successes.
Okay, 5 successes. Twisting does still take some effort, but you do hear the lock snap off in your grip, with Aspen positioning yourself against the door, making sure it doesn't shift or cause any issues. It does twist off and break, causing the lock to be undone and the door to swing open. Looking inside, there are many, many crates inside of this particular unit. Now, there are a couple of these units to go through. This particular unit, actually, let me roll to see what this unit contains. Okay. This unit does contain the fertilizer bags, as well as most of the gardening supplies. The other unit contains what is mostly needed for the interiors of the buildings. So you got lucky and picked correctly. So yeah, there's a lot of fertilizer bags, gardening equipment, wheelbarrows, most of what anybody would need for the groundskeeping. There are no potted bushes. It seems like most of the bushes were already planted.
Thinking maybe if the bushes are that dangerous, we just bring the information of what you figured out from them back to the pack, and then we can kind of go from there. Maybe you and Lucas could come back and take care of the rest of them, or we see what we need to do. But we've got fertilizer, so that's good. She'll start picking bags of fertilizer and putting them in the wheelbarrow that's in there.
I'll start assisting. Yeah. To look back. I mean, I think Eliza's right. I don't think they're made for humans.
Right. So at least there's that. At least leaving them won't do any harm to anybody that comes and goes.
My only concern, and this is a mild one, would be one, Ghislaine. Any Ghislaine that don't know the Ghislaine. And two, any kin that haven't changed yet. Now, perhaps if they have not had that change, it wouldn't be an issue. Could be. But that's still a possibility. Now, would be something that would be easy to rule out if we had Lucas or Stakes just check out the area to make sure there aren't any nearby. That should be easy enough, but it's worth investigating. Now, I could also check, of course, but as they are kin seekers, that is their duty. I would not want to step on any toes.
Lucas did mention sending Stakes to the club to check there. He doesn't seem ready to do it himself.
Maybe we have Stakes and Lucas both come back. That way Lucas can bring his clave, and if it is necessary to get rid of all these bushes, he's here to do it.
Yeah.
The only issue is if we do destroy all these bushes, that is going to gain attention and let them know that we are onto them. It's easy to write off that we got rid of a couple of bushes as maybe it was an accident or, somebody got into vandalism, as this is a rather rough area of town. But if they're all gone, they're going to know.
Right. That's kind of why I want to bring it to the pack and see what the priority is. And if it is necessary, if we all decide that it's necessary, then we'll send Lucas and Stakes to, number one, make sure people are safe. And if we do decide to take down the rest of them, have Lucas out here.
Agreed.
Why this apartment building? Why plant these bushes here?
Probably because it's closest to the airport. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're trying to accomplish with their flowers and weird bulbs and such, I'm sure giving it a way to travel, whether somebody picks a flower and takes it somewhere else or allows it to easily go across the country.
I guess. I mean, when you pick the flower or we remove the plant, it dies easily, so.
The ones we've seen so far, but I wouldn't.
So are
Put
they
it
adding? Are they going to add other plants or something else inside the building?
That's what I wonder.
It's a valid question. This is a security plant. What are they trying to secure?
If you want, we can go take a look inside, and we could take a look in these trucks.
I'm not sure if it's something that's here already or something that's going to be here. That's the question.
Right.
We could
but
look now, but if we don't find anything, then it's something that's going to be here.
I could try to sneak in and scout a little bit and take a look.
It may not be here yet, but there's a potential of something strange in the building, or maybe paperwork left or in these
Certainly.
trucks or something.
Oh, without a doubt, I have no issue with looking now, for sure.
Look to Aspen. You want me to go check?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps starting with the already completed building would be the best guess. If there's no tenants living in it yet, that would be the best place they'd stash something or have something they want protected.
Okay. I will I will head that way. I'm staying in Glabro and taking my clave because the bushes.
Okay. Moving over towards the building, you approach what appears to be a front door that leads into the apartment building itself. There are external doors that lead into the apartments from the outside. There's stairwells that lead up to the second floor. You know, all of the units are accessible from the outside. There is also what appears to be a kind of entryway that leads into a lobby that can also lead hallways into internal apartments as well. But most of the apartments are accessible from the outside.
Okay. I'm gonna for now I'm gonna try to try not to get close to the plants. But check the windows first, lobbies and any of the lower apartment buildings first. Start
Okay.
with the lobby.
Give me a wits and investigation. I'll just make it a roll across the board as you're investigating the exterior of the building.
Okay. I'll spend a willpower. 2 successes.
You spend a good while investigating, checking windows, checking doors. Most of this place is empty. It's fresh for people to move in. It looks like it's a work in like it's a completed work. It's just waiting for the other side to get finished before they start letting tenants in. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. This is just a completed apartment building. Nothing to shake a stick at. Nothing out of the ordinary. It is a refurbished job.
Okay. I will also put on the aura shades just to double check on the Umbra side as well.
Yeah, nothing unusual. It is standard craftsmanship. You see the works of the weaver, the webs, everything is built. You do not see any of the umbral spiders coming near this building or trying to maintain it in any fashion.
Okay.
It is just a completed building. There is no sign of life or anything within the building itself.
All right. I'll head back. I didn't see anything. It looks like it's just a completed building, so I guess they haven't done anything to it yet. All of it's pretty empty.
Okay. Well, it's something to consider.
All right. Well, they are trying to secure it. Like you said, Aspen, if it is near the airport, and this is a business. They do a lot of international trade and business. They could be intending to bring important people through the airport on a regular basis. If they're trying to do any kind of illicit business or trade through this area, or if they're trying to set up an international hub here, we know that they're doing business out of Piney Point. This would be a perfect place to set up business meetings. And if they needed those meetings to be secure, especially knowing that there are Guru in Tampa, it would make sense that this would be a good place to secure to do those business dealings and get them out of town quickly.
Fair point.
Right by the airport, in and out.
Yeah. So I guess talk about it. See if we send Stakes and Lucas back here.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And once that's all done and it's established, we can see about tenants who come through and things of that nature moving forward.
What's perplexing to me about these plants, seeing one up close, alive, for the first time, seeing as I'm leaving the Caern for the first time in a long time, it's unusual because plants, they're beings of the wild. A lot of them will have spirits, but these plants are unlike anything I've seen before. Something I'd be curious to speak with Dreams and Decay more about, to see his thoughts on, but it's unusual. I'll say that much. These are not normal. I know that seems like I'm speaking the obvious truth, but this goes beyond the physical. There's something spiritually different about these plants as well. These manifestations are not just unnatural on a physical level, they go beyond. Something was done to them completely through and through, spiritually and physically. Like some sort of hybrid experiment between natural and spiritual manifestation. Could be why the dissolving happens so quickly as the spirit leaves, and therefore the physical cannot maintain and it dissolves immediately, like a spirit does. It dissolves and returns to the spirit wilds. But the spirit, being physical in the natural world, does not make sense. That's not how they work. Not without a wormhole, and there's no wormholes in the area.
Not anymore.
No. And these aren't unlike these are unlike any banes I've seen.
I took Jace to see where Aspen and I first found the plant, and when looking at it, we were looking at the ground and the tree where it had attached itself, and there seemed to be a lot of worm residue, like it was corrupting. It had corrupted the ground and the spots where it had attached itself to the tree. Jay said the tree should be able to heal itself, and like the land around it should be able to heal now that it's gone. But there was definitely a presence of the worm in the ground where it was rooted. The other plant we came across, which is this tulip bulb, like huge tulip bulb, the one we come that seemed to spew out pollen of some sort of thing. We did get hit by it, but we seemed okay. That one, he said wasn't, but it was still weird.
Strange.
So, and this one seems wild and weaver, so whatever.
Well, certainly something that needs further investigation, but at least we have more information. We have another plant identified at the very least, and now we know that these are certainly defensive as well, and they are tailored to hold against our type. They know that we are a threat, and they are preparing for that.
Mm-hmm. Aspen, Lucas said he gave you a live specimen of a plant from
Yeah, yeah, I have it.
Maybe Eliza could take a look at it and see.
Yeah, let's get some of this fertilizer into the car. I'll take a picture of these bushes just to make sure it's the same ones that Lucas saw. Sounds like it, but just so we have a corroborated story. Um, yeah, I'll have Liza take a look.
Okay.
I suggest we retreat from this place as quickly as possible before we gain any more attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you return to the car, loading up the fertilizer into the trunk, heading out, what's going through your minds with this new information, knowing that the threat has become even more severe, more than you knew before, with plants capable of injecting or possibly stabbing you with silver, manifesting silver within bushes itself. This has become not just severe, but deadly, specifically towards Guru. Aspen, we'll start with you.
Aspen finds them strange, a bit intriguing, but also terrifying. So the whole idea of it and how it's all connected is kind of going through her brain. But to be completely honest, she takes a picture and she stares at her phone and kind of fidgets with it in her hand for a while, staring at the arty contact that she just called after she closes the gallery. And her mind is elsewhere. And as they pack the fertilizer into the back of the car, she's gonna turn to Jester and just kind of look over to her. Hey, about the other day, when you talked about Charles, um, I I was wrong, and if he makes you happy, then I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Also, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. I'll always be here, one way or another.
And Jester, what's going through your mind with everything that's happened?
Very worried about these plants and why they are around this particular building. It's kind of troubling in a way that like they definitely have some sort of plans that they don't want us involved, or even like they want to protect from us, which that's a bit worrisome. Also, I'm not sure if any of these plants are out in the wild, so I'm gonna have to like keep an eye out for them, and now I'll probably take my clave with me when I go hunting plants. And then there is also this part of me that really doesn't want to leave yet. I kind of want to destroy the rest of the plants and the fertilizer and the buildings that they have set up for all the building and refurbishing stuff. But I know that we can't draw that much attention right now, so kind of squashing that urge. And then after what Aspen said, progress.
Progress. Moving forward. Boys versus girls. Both of them walk away with more information. Wasn't a competition between the two. Neither, I would say, came out on the winning end because they both walked away knowing more than they came in with. Both walked away with some troubling thoughts in their minds. Both walked away with something to bring to the table, the newly constructed table at the cairn. The next pack meeting is going to be very, very interesting. This is where tonight's story comes to a close. But of course, not without one last scene. This scene takes place at an undisclosed location. We see a wall. This wall is concrete and nondescript. It has the word family scratched into it. And I mean literally scratched into it. At the end of the Y, dug into the wall, it just goes down and down and down, and then it curls and curls and curls and curls around and around and around into a spiral. And that's where our story ends. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. If you enjoy what you've seen here, go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below and in the description. And if you're not a part of this amazing community, come join us. We have 200 plus members in our incredible community, and you could be one of them. So go follow that Discord link you see in the description. And stay tuned this week on Friday, we have Hellhounds over on YouTube, our YouTube exclusive other Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle, which takes place in the Rage Across Tampa universe. It's our second werewolf pack in town, and they have a lot to discuss after their test that was posed to them by Charles Albrecht. So go check that episode out on Friday. You won't want to miss it. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back here next Tuesday. So come back and join us. We'd love to see you. Have a lovely evening, everyone.